We ready for credit?
David, what is your team's mascot?
Do you have to ask? Pelican. Pelicans are great at finding opportunities. And just like the pelican, that's what we do in credit. I do always like to say, we're not vultures, we're pelicans. We're quite a bit friendlier, and I'd like to say that we're a lot more skilled. In today's environment, you're seeing a lot of volatility in the geopolitical environment. You're seeing it in the headlines, but you're not seeing it in market prices, at least over the last 6 to 8 months. So how that's informing us to make our decisions, we're actually high grading the portfolio a lot more over the last 6 months or so. We've moved into things like investment grade, especially on the private investment grade area. We've moved into strong double B. We were able to find some of that on the structured credit front and some corporate credit. We've also moved away from, I would say, the U.S., just given the capital flows going into the U.S. with the lack of M&A activity going on. The capital flows versus M&A, that supply-demand tends to be better in areas like Europe or parts of Asia. So we are actually deliberately making those choices with teams and moving capital, but right now that's where we're finding the opportunity. The change of pace has been immense. When you look at things like AI, to other technologies, media, telecom, energy, it's just so important we stay on top of those themes, understand those trends, where they're going. So there's a ton of work that we do, not only across the credit platform, but across the entire fund, understanding those trends and working with different groups and departments to cross those wakes to figure out best ideas and where those trends are coming from to stay on top of them. The breadth of our platform is probably one of the greatest strengths that we bring. By product, you're talking about things like corporate credit, structured credit, real assets. We do liquids, we do privates, we're all up and down the cap stack. And then, of course, investment grade and sub-investment grade. When you put all that together, that just brings up so much optionality for us to kind of move in and out, swap different things to try to find the best relative value and alpha at any one time. Talent is the second one. So hiring people that know how to work across our platform and have those values of basically a team approach is so important. Being able to connect those dots in terms of knowledge, relationships, being able to cross-staff people across both credit areas as well as the entire fund is so important. Private investment grade is an area that we find very attractive. As we're actually trying to high grade the platform in today's environment, it's very fortuitous. And at the same time, there are a lot of borrowers and issuers that are looking for this product. And the reason being is when you talk about large-scale products like the AI build-out, energy transition, all of that requires huge sums of capital. And there are players like ourselves that can offer that in a very customized, solution-based way. The other area that we're finding really interesting is structured credit. Structured credit is going through the same life cycle as what corporate credit went through after the great financial crisis. So after the regional banking crisis that took place in the US 2 or 3 years ago, a lot of those regionals got out of areas like consumer lending, mortgage, equipment finance, the list goes on. And we've been able to either work with some of those regional banks to de-risk them, or in some cases, work with originators outside the system that are filling that gap and provide that capital. Things like connecting the dots, things like using relationships, partnerships, our own platforms that we have in-house, really, really key. And then when you think about working across not only the credit platform, but all of the fund to connect those dots, removing any silos, because we don't have any silos. We are one fund across credit, private equity, public equity, infrastructure, you name it. So using all of that together to find the best investments. And that today is our edge. So I actually find it, while the world is getting more competitive, we've gotten more competitive, and that places us, both in credit and the entire fund, in a really advantageous spot.